It's your boy. What's good? Trying to stay consistent with y'all and just give you, some type of content. Sometimes, the boxing world dies down. So I just want to talk about one of my favorite movies, actually probably my favorite movie of all time, Django. Have you ever loved again? Django Unchained. Now, what's the lessons that I learned from Django? Now, just to give y'all a little bit of context, I actually read the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. And one thing I realized is people think they understand slavery because of the movies that they've watched, because of, 12 Years a Slave, the content that they've heard of. But you can't understand the mentality of slavery and the evil and the wickedness of it until you actually read a first-hand account. Somebody that went through this. And that book brought tears to my eyes, the type of wickedness, the type of evil that man went to, right? And one thing that Frederick Douglass talked about was how the worst slave owners were the religious ones. So you wonder if this man's a Christian throughout the entire, throughout the entire book. So we got the little homie here. Come here, boy. Come here. We got the little homie. We got a little German Shepherd. He's trying to come in my lap. Anyways, boy. But anyways, he talks about the mentality of slavery, the wicked things that they used to do. I mean, you couldn't even look a white man in the eye, right? And if we look at Django, he starts off in this type of he's lost all hope. And honestly, after watching the movie so many times, I'm confident in saying that I think it's a dream. I think it was a man dreaming of the impossible at that time and having hope and just, playing with a revenge fantasy in his brain. But we don't have to get to that. The first thing I noticed is Django took a position. He took his position as a man, right? They had to take your masculinity in an aspect. And I'm not saying buck breaking, but they had to take your mentality in an aspect. And Django, he throws off, when Dr. Schultz buys him, he throws off the blanket and walks straight tall with his chest up. Because he's just been waiting, just like any human being. Once given the opportunity to excel, he excelled. As people don't realize, slaves could not read. Yeah, they were not educated, but once they were taught how to read, they were on the same level as everybody else, right? Frederick Douglass taught himself how to read. So somebody took the opportunity upon themselves to teach this person something, and that changed that person, right? So it's just very interesting when you see the parallels. I think honestly Django is probably the most accurate example of slavery, and the mentality and how people moved at that time and how people really acted like, there was nothing wrong at that time. And if you look throughout Django, he continues to excel. And it's just at that time, that would have been almost impossible. It's just crazy what's happening and how he's getting away with all these bounty hunters. And at the end of the movie, because he disguises himself as a slave so he can get back his wife, right? It also shows the sacrifice of love, right? I don't know. Will Smith was talking about he didn't do it because he wanted to do the greatest love story of all time. That is the greatest love story of all time. This man was willing to die for the person that he loved. The Bible says, love your wives as Christ loved the church, right? And then if you look at the end, so he was acting like a slaver, so he talked to one of the slaves crazy. He told the slave, hey, don't look at me, nigga, before I put my boot into your, your mouth. I ain't one of y'all, I'm a good nigga, right? He really was playing the part. And later he got caught and he was going to be sent to the Mediki mining company. And, he comes up with this little scheme to sell to the, people that are selling him. He's like, hey, bro, do I sound like a motherfucking slave? Boom, boom, boom. And he's riding away in the sunset, and I probably put the image right here, but into the sunset, and he begins to, he looks at slave that he talked to, and nods in agreement, because he finally understands, yo, he's a special type of nigga, you know what I'm saying? Like, he shows him love, because he realizes, yo, I know what you was doing. That's a black man standing for what he needs to, standing for his woman and saving his woman. And slavery cannot stop that. Slavery cannot stop God's covenant. They can't. Chains wouldn't stop. Distance wouldn't stop God's covenant. That man prayed and he went and seeked and conquered and he killed for his wife. Which honestly, I think in that position is justifiable. It's not a revenge, it's saving, it's protecting the people that you love, that you're in responsibility of, and that you're called to protect and keep safe your entire life. He's doing his job as a man. So that's a lot of things I learned about Django, but just watching that movie over and over again. And if you look at Samuel Jackson, who plays, damn, I forgot who he plays, what's his name. But the guy that Samuel Jackson plays is a genius type of villain, right? He even uses this position to the point where he's able to put, you know what I'm saying, put the slave owner in things. So it just shows that, like, some people don't want to let go of power. They're willing to make everybody else suffer because they don't want to let go of the power that they have, right? And that's how they got us, is they kept us divided, is they kept giving certain people power. So then now the house nigga don't want to fight against the slave owner because he's got a good position, he's got a good job, he gets to talk to people, you know what I'm saying, he eats good food, he doesn't work all crazy. So he creates hierarchies, you create hierarchies with certain things. It's just fucked up, man. And if you look at the autobiography of Frederick Douglass, he talks about that. He talks about that's used specifically and strategically to keep black people divided. So, this is the things I learned from Django Unchained, your boy.